The enormous male lion strode toward Ranger Alex, who was tightly bound to an old acacia tree in the middle of the vast savannah. Left behind by poachers, Alex's body was racked with pain, his hope fading with each shallow breath. The coarse rope had dug deep into his arms and chest, holding him fast against the rough bark. Just a few steps away, the great lion stopped, its golden eyes fixed on him, unblinking, assessing. The air was heavy with tense stillness. Alex struggled to steady his racing heartbeat, his mind searching the lion's massive frame for any hint of familiarity. Then he noticed it, a faint scar running along the beast's right shoulder. A jagged mark he recognized instantly. Months earlier, he had stitched that very wound inside his small cabin. Back then, it was a lioness who had brought her cub to him for help. The video of that moment of trust had once captured hearts across the world. And now, standing before him was her mate, the regal protector who had guarded his family from the shadows. The terrifying predator was, against all odds, his only chance at survival. The lion shifted its stance, glancing from Alex's face to the thick knots biting into his torso. It lowered its massive head, its mane brushing the dry grass. A low rumble rolled from its chest, not anger, but something deeper, a kind of recognition. Cautiously, the lion extended its muzzle toward the rope, sniffing, nudging, then pulling back as if trying to understand how it was tied. Alex tried to speak, but his throat was dry and his voice came out cracked. "It's me, big guy. Alex," he croaked. The lion's ear flicked, a small sign it was listening. Then, with surprising care, it began tugging at the rope with its teeth. Its sharp incisors worked slowly, prying at the thick cords while avoiding Alex's skin. The effort was painfully slow. The knots were soaked with dew, slippery and stubborn. Alex's heart pounded. Every second felt endless. If the lion made one wrong move, its bite could turn his rescue into tragedy. But the animal's focus was extraordinary, precise, patient, almost surgical. It seemed to remember the human who once healed its mate. Now returned that trust in kind. Suddenly, the peace shattered. A chorus of eerie laughter echoed through the savannah. Between the scattered acacia trees, a clan of hyenas emerged, their bulky frames slinking forward with predatory purpose. Drawn by the scent of both man and lion, they moved closer. The lion froze, lifting its head sharply. Its eyes narrowed toward the approaching danger. The leading hyena, a scarred female, broke from the pack, snarling as she advanced. The lion now faced a cruel dilemma: continue freeing Alex, or defend them both from the incoming threat. The hyenas were closing in fast. Would the rescue end here before Alex could even whisper his thanks? The tension snapped like a bowstring. The lone male lion stepped forward, positioning himself between Alex and the advancing pack of hyenas. His chest expanded and a thunderous roar exploded from deep within him, a sound that seemed to shake the earth itself. It wasn't the roar of rage, but of authority. The unmistakable warning of a guardian defending what was his. For a heartbeat, the hyenas hesitated. Even this hardened clan, led by the scarred alpha female, faltered under the weight of his power. But hunger soon overruled their fear. They fanned out, circling, their laughter morphing into a chorus of menace. The battle erupted in a storm of dust and fury. The lion lunged first, his massive paw striking one of the attackers mid-air, sending it tumbling to the ground. He spun, teeth flashing, muscles coiling as he fended off another. Each movement was raw precision, every roar a promise that he would not yield. Alex could only watch, helpless and wide-eyed. Every blow, every counter, Every desperate lunge the lion made was not just a fight for dominance, it was a battle for Alex's life. Within minutes, the ground was scarred with claw marks and torn grass. The lion's flank bore a shallow cut from a hyena's teeth, but his fury only grew. With one final charge, he drove the pack back toward the distant thicket of acacias. The hyenas retreated, limping and whining, unwilling to pay the price for their persistence. Silence slowly crept back over the plains. The lion stood panting, his breath heavy and uneven, misting in the cool morning air. He turned back toward Alex, not as a predator but as an ally. Stepping close, the lion nudged Alex's cheek with his muzzle. Then he looked down at the ropes once more, releasing a low, deliberate growl, a frustrated sound that shifted in tone, as if urging Alex to understand. The message was clear: try again. Alex, driven by desperation and adrenaline, began scraping the back of his hand against the tree bark where the rope was slightly looser. The bark tore at his skin, but he didn't stop until he felt the fibers fray. He looked up at the lion, meeting those intelligent amber eyes. Then he tilted his head toward the weakened spot, silently asking for help. The lion seemed to understand. It lowered its head, took a deep breath, and bit down on the rope with a quick, decisive snap. The tension broke, and Alex fell sideways into the tall grass, gasping, his arms finally free. Instinct made him crawl backward, creating distance from the great animal. But the danger was far from over. A new sound reached his ears: soft footsteps, low growls, and the unmistakable scent of more lions. From behind a line of trees, a larger pride emerged. Several lionesses and young males drawn by the earlier fight. To them, Alex was no friend, just prey. The male lion immediately stepped forward, placing himself once again between Alex and danger. His roar rolled across the savannah, fierce, commanding, protective. It wasn't an invitation to battle, but a clear declaration: this one is under my watch. The pride hesitated, confused. The message had been received. One by one, the lionesses turned away, fading back into the grasslands. Only when the last of them disappeared did the male lion finally relax. He turned back toward Alex, the exhaustion evident in his posture, but his eyes calm, steady, and alive with understanding. Alex sat against the tree, trembling but alive, overwhelmed with gratitude. He lifted his battered hand toward the lion, who stepped closer and lowered his head. Alex's fingers brushed against the scar behind the lion's ear, the same scar that told the story of their shared past. In that silent exchange, there were no words, just pure recognition. A moment of mutual respect between man and beast. The lion gave a soft snort, then turned away, walking back across the open plain with quiet dignity, each step fading into the horizon. Alex watched him disappear into the golden light of dawn, realizing that what had just happened was far more than survival. It was proof that compassion leaves a lasting mark. That day, the man who once saved a lion's family was, in turn, saved by that very lion's loyalty, and the wild for one fleeting moment felt like home.